All right, hey everybody, we are continuing this project from last week. It's time for DIY on now. We will skip ahead. So if you remember last week, we were doing the hanging rope shelf. I have some rope here. I have some pieces of board that were cut different lengths. I didn't measure. They just rustic as they are. And in them, you would see that there were some holes bored, and that's where the rope has to go through. Once I go through these holes with the ropes, I'll tie knots on them to fasten each board. All right, so we're going to move a little bit faster here. We are perilously close to the top of the hour before the news, but you'll get the general idea. We may not be able to finish it, but we'll see how it goes. All right, so you want to thread your rope through the holes that you've made. They are roughly ½ inch away from the end of the pieces, okay? And if I could just get this here, it's not cooperating. So sometimes you may need to give it a little twist just to get it through your end piece, right? So yeah, give it a little twist as well. You want the holes to be tight. You'll have to use a bit that is close in size to your rope, because what happens is that you need to, that when you make the knot is actually what is going to be holding up the piece. So you're going to thread your rope through each, and you're just going to rinse and repeat the process pretty much. So I'm going to thread this through as well, and I'm working from the top go down. So this board is actually the top board. If you see over here, there are a bunch of holes in it as well, and that's because there are pieces that are going to go under it, and you're going to actually use those holes to be the supports for the following pieces. So what you're going to do from here, you're going to just pretty much average your length. This side you're seeing here with the knot, this knot is going to be put on a hook, which you could actually put into a wall, and there is where you'll be your hanging point. That's where you're going to hang it from. So what you want to do is pretty much get that through. You're going to do the same on the other side. So I did the same thing. I tied a knot on the end here. This is where it looped. I cut my length. I folded it in half, and then I put my knot on top, because that is where the knot is. The knot is where the hook is going to go through. All right, so you're just going to thread this through quickly, followed by this side. Same process. And as we get closer and closer to the hour, I want to at least show you how to get your first level done. Again, not cooperating. That's the thing with natural instruments, like this twine, for instance. This is natural sisal, so it is actually made from plant fiber. So it may give you a little bit of trouble at first, but once you get the hang of it, things would go along nicely enough. Just trying to get this one through here to make my life a little easier, and there we go. I'm gonna draw it through. All right, so same process. You're gonna thread this through, and you wanna pretty much get it as even as possible compared to the other side. If you have time to measure, that would be ideal. I don't at this point, so just gonna eyeball it. So here we just make sure that both sides are pretty much even, just a little adjustment there. And now the important part, you hold this here, you flip it over, then you're gonna tie knots on the end. These knots again are going to be your supports. So if we could get in really close here, yep, there we go. Gonna see, what you wanna do is hold the length and keep the knot in place. So you do that. So this knot now prevents the rope from actually sliding through the hole that you made. That's why the rope has to be, the holes actually have to be so tight compared to your rope, so that when you make this knot, you don't, it doesn't slip through the holes. So when you do put your other pieces in, everything holds up really nice, and you can get your piece done. So here we have the other one. So this side is done, and now on this side we're going to do the same. Make your loop, make your knot, pull the knot through, keep your knot in place by, all right. So here what we're going to do, we're going to continue this. I'll show you the finished piece next week. From next week, we'll actually move on to a different project, but I'm going to show you the finished piece next week. But pretty much get the gist of it, where you rinse and repeat this technique of making your knots and making your knots and getting the lengths you want. All right, so this is going to be a wrap for DIY today. And tune in next week. I'll show you the finished product. It'll be a lot of fun, and we're also going to move into our next segment of DIY next week as well, a new project. All right, but now we have to go to the top of the hour for the news at 7. in the TTT News Center. So we'll be back with the Now Morning Show after that, but stay tuned.